All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2 of the BearlyMen podcast. Hope you're having a great day. I'm joined with my co-host.
Ben, I'm Ben. This is Zell. So yeah, we're second episode in. First episode currently hasn't gone up, but we've got it ready. But we're getting hyped.
Yes.
Basically today we're trying to think, what do we want to talk about? What is it to talk about? And Zell came up with a good accomplishment that he's actually hit today. Surprisingly.
Yes. Today marks day 100 of me being completely sober.
So
let's go.
That's good for him, but that's rookie numbers compared to me, bro. Like 17 years, almost 18, 17 and 3/4 or whatever. I have not drunk besides
This geezer over here.
This lad, look at me. I haven't touched drinking.
We get it. You were an alcoholic when you were born.
Yeah.
Now you're going 17 years clean.
Exactly.
We get it. What's your secret?
Got no taste buds, therefore I can't taste the alcohol.
Oh, well, they burnt off from you.
Yeah. I had so much when I was younger that it just I drank it. It's like, oh yeah, this is water to me, pretty much. Like
fair.
So yeah. But yeah, I got a bunch of stories about that because I went to all the parties that you went to, which you won't remember.
When you were a baby.
When I was a baby, yeah. I went to the parties like I was on the ground, I was like doing all the dances.
Did you were a pimp when you were a baby?
Yeah. I had all the women change my nappies and stuff.
You suck on hella titties?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Need milk with my alcohol, bro.
Well, can I get just a taste? Come on.
Come on, just a suck.
Sucky, tembucky.
Come here, bro. Oh. But yeah, I went to all the parties that you went to, but you were like, you weren't gone, but you had some. So you were like, I don't remember half of it. And I was like, I remember all of it.
I only blacked out once, and I've been half blacked out once. The rest of the times I was just either very drunk or just tipsy, because it takes a long time for me to finally cross over the line and just go straight to sleep.
Pretty much, as you'll see in the graduation video that you put up on your channel, the mini shot.
What was that again?
Remember that? So you had there's 10 shots of Jaeger or something.
Oh, that's nothing.
I know, and then you were just like, all right, let's go to graduation, and everything was fine, and everyone's like, bro, what you had? My parents saw that video and they're like, did he just have one and then repeat it? And I'm like, yes, yeah, he just had one.
Yeah, just a different reaction every time. Just like cut
exactly.
It
I was like, oh, that was great. And it was like,
oh.
It'd be so much more effort than just having 10 shots.
Yeah.
But yeah. So congrats to Zell for 100 days non-drinking, which is great.
Yes.
But we're gonna talk about some stories that you guys are intrigued about.
Yes, we're gonna talk about stuff. All right, let's get into it. So, I think the main reason why you probably want to know why I'm doing a sober journey. I'm not ending at 100 days. I'm not gonna stop this podcast and go pour a drink.
Go to the pub.
So stupid.
Smack some down.
I'm going 6 months and I'm 100 days in. The reason why, if you would like to know, is because the reason I started drinking was just because it looked really fun and all that. Obviously, that's how you get into it. But then eventually, I realized that I could finally be myself completely comfortably. Like, I'd have a drink, and then just all the negativity in my head, everything will be just gone. I could just talk to anyone like if they were my best mate. It was the best. So I used it to be more social, to connect with people. And then that, in turn, became a dependency for me. So every time I went out, I was like uncomfortable unless I had a drink.
Pretty much.
It's terrible.
And then eventually people were like, oh, yo, or he's a little bit drunk. Hey, yeah, can we have some of your drinks, or can you buy some drinks for us? Pretty much what it was the whole time.
That's why I switched to Jaeger, and everyone's like, ew.
Yeah, what's that? It doesn't taste nice. You don't drink out of stuff. Main stuff. But yeah. So we have stories of our mates that couple shots and vomited in the bushes. You know who we're talking about.
Big man.
Big boy. But you know, and then other times we had people that just had I think scoured the bottle in a forest and
and just moonshine and
stupidest thing. Remember it was like, no, I've had drinks before and he drunk some.
That's what we're talking about.
That's the good story.
Shit.
We can talk about that one if you want.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
You guys know what's up. We're about to tell you.
If the legend is watching this, he knows exactly who we're talking about. Everyone that's in the know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, that event.
All my
Well,
days.
So you know more about me. I knew like some of it because then eventually I knew some of the back stuff, and you know the main event. You did the main event.
I didn't do it. He chose to do it.
You
Dude,
thought that he had. All right, let's start off the story so you guys know what we're talking about. All right, you started off because you know
I
how
gotta
it
be
began.
really careful with what I say because this is stuff that if I say too much, I could get in big trouble.
Ah, you're right.
We're not gonna disclose names or anything.
We're not doing names or anything or where it took place.
Yeah, we're not gonna disclose the location either. So
Alright,
basically,
so it happened on Mars.
Yeah, like
Happened on Mars in the middle of a
next door.
tornado. Yeah,
Um.
in my pet rocket.
So, one of our mates,
Mhm.
I didn't realize at the time that he could not handle his alcohol at all, and we
Well,
were
he's
at a
never
location
drunk.
where alcohol is not allowed.
He would-
It's like if no, that's basically no.
That's pretty much it. It's not allowed at all.
It's not a place you would ever want to drink. So I thought like, hey, this might be a bit of fun here. So I brought a liter of vodka to the location.
Mm-hmm.
Hid it in my bag. I brought some monsters as well. Made a few mixes. Made that.
Yep.
Because it looks like you're just drinking Monster, but really you got something else that's making you ping.
Get a
But-
pop.
So anyway, this one dude acts like I can handle my alcohol really well.
Yeah,
So I'm
I've
like,
had it before.
well,
yeah.
you want a swig? Like, yeah. So we head off
Oh.
into the bush,
Mm.
where no one can see us. Crack it open. I have
had
a
a little
swig, have a
Mm.
little bit, and then I give it to him because he acts like, oh yeah, I do this all the time. I know what I'm doing. You know what he does? It
Yeah, he just goes for it.
has like 8 shots.
So I was like, you serious?
Boom, and I'm like, you can handle that? All right. So I close it. I put it down. Have some more of my Monster, and he's like, oh, can I have some more? And I'm
Yeah.
like,
You're
you
like-
want, you want more? You sure? And he's like, yeah, I'll do this all
Yeah, I
the
can
time.
handle it.
So I'm like, okay. I thought he was just gonna have another little swig, but
I'm just thirsty, and he's like, "Ah, it doesn't taste
What?
that bad now."
it's just Russian water, okay? I just want to
pretty
drink.
much. I have it all the time.
So I'll try to imagine how many shots he's had. He's had at least 8 the first time and at least 6 the second swig.
Half a bottle.
Look, I was looking at my bottle. I'm like, this man just drank a third of my vodka. And then, so we walk out. We're walking out. He's already like tripping over sticks that aren't even
It
there,
was so quick.
bumping his head. We head out, and then he's just basically face plants onto the ground in front of everyone. And I'm like, oh shit, this is not good. And so I go let him do his thing. I sit down. I see him just like stumbling into people. And obviously, this is a place where you don't act like that.
Pretty much.
You don't want to make it obvious.
I think this is the part when I came over as well, because we were filling up water balloons for another event at that thing, and we're filling up water balloons, and we came down on the thing, and I just see him like stumbling around. I like walked up to him like, "Hey man, you all good?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm doing great. Oh, did you get the water balloons?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're over there." He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna just stay here for now." And then I walked over to you,
Yeah,
and I was like, "Is he okay?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, this happened." I was like, "You serious?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, make sure he doesn't have any more." You're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep my bottle with me in my bag." Didn't he come up to you again? And he was like, "Where's the bottle?"
yeah. He came up and put his arm around me. He's like short as hell, so he's like, "Can I have some of your Monster?" Yeah. And I'm like, "No, get off me! Stop touching me!" It just kept going. He's like, so I walked in a straight line and obviously went left.
Yeah.
Stumbled
And-
into other people and stuff. I don't know what more we should say because I don't want to get in trouble here.
No, I'll leave it at that
We'll
point.
leave it at that because I'm scared.
But yeah, it was a fun day. It was a great day. Besides that, pretty much to end the story quickly, you know, stuff went down. He got picked up. Went to a special facility.
And he didn't die.
He didn't die. They didn't find out that he had drunk.
He was well taken care of.
I know, he was well taken care of. And another one of our mates took the blow for him.
Absolute unit.
He was a unit. Someone asked, he's like, "Yo, is he?" What happened? He's like, "Oh, nah, yeah, he just got hit in the head real hard."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Well, how come I can smell alcohol?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I had that." And they're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I had that." And they're like, "All right, fine, you come with me." And then ending the story there for you guys.
Yeah, that's all we're gonna
Boom.
say. I wish we could say more because it's so much funnier if you know the
It's a
context.
great story, but
I could probably say the story again in like 5 years' time.
exactly.
I wouldn't get in trouble. Right?
You know, we'll bring it back around.
Not allegedly, so it's not. It's not
it's
true.
fine.
Allegedly.
But we'll talk because we're on the case of drinking.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the parties that you remember. I'll remember more, but
I remember when I blacked out and when I got half blacked out. That's the main things that I remember.
oh, I remember you sitting on the ground and patting you on the back, going, "It's all right, mate." And you're like, you're like, "I'll be right." All the girls laying on.
Hey, I'm a pimp. What can I?
That was the funniest thing, especially that one person, because they hadn't drank any before, and then they had some, and they're like, "Yo, are you okay?" And oh,
Dude, I didn't care. I was trying to decide for Jägermeister.
I know that was way ages before.
Yeah, it was
We were like-
before that event happened. It was before I
was the same
supposedly had
event,
chicks
but it
on
was-
me.
Yeah,
I just don't really remember.
you don't remember? Oh,
Not
best
too
thing.
much.
Took a video of it.
I do remember I was cracked open the Jägermeister. I was like, because no one else is gonna drink that. No one can scab it off me. You know, I was
Exactly.
pinging and stuff, and then I was like, yo, this bottle looks sick. I started like looking real close at the writing, and then I noticed there was writing that goes all the way around the label.
Yeah.
It was in German. I was like, what's the
Yeah, I was sitting across from you, looking at you, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And you were like, "No, come here, come here." So I was like, "Okay." I was sober at the time, guys, and I wasn't drinking that night because I wanted to look after everyone. So I went over and sat next to him, and you just like fall on me, and you're like, "Bro, look at this bottle." I'm like, "What about it? It's a green bottle with a label." He's like, "No, we need to decipher this thing." I'm like, "Okay." I pulled out my phone, and so pretty much I typed in the bottle, and I was like, the origin of the bottle or the label. And so the first thing came up was like all the different years of it. So it was like, I think it was 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010.
Yeah.
I was showing you, you're like, "Oh my God, this is insane." And I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." And then we brought up a page, and it had literally like what the writing's called, what the icon is,
Yeah,
why
logo.
it's like that. It's like meant to be like the top thing in their country and all this.
Yeah.
And then eventually we got onto the part, you're like, "Do you know how much the most expensive, do you remember this? The most expensive alcohol would be?"
Nope.
No, you don't remember that.
I
Cool.
don't remember.
But I brought up a top 10 alcohol list. And
Oh yes, I do remember that.
so yeah, I was like top 10, and it was like the lowest, and it was like
Yeah.
still like 100,000 or something, just for like this little bottle.
yeah.
Eventually we were scrolling, and I can still remember the image of the head of the top one. And you're like, "Oh, top 2, that's insane." I was like, "Wait for top 1." And we got the top 1, and it was this like, it looked like a seashell. It was like a diamond seashell bottle.
I don't remember. What
Do you remember that? I don't
Mm-mm.
remember that. It was like a diamond seashell bottle. You can probably look it up. But it was like a diamond seashell bottle, like pure diamonds all around the bottle. And it was like this weird thing, like it wasn't like a proper bottle. You'd pull off the cap, and it was like, I don't remember how much it was, but it was like something million, or like 200 million
Jeez.
just for this one bottle that had like proper diamonds all around it. And I showed you, you were like, you were like died. I'm like, okay. I was like, did he black out? You okay? So you're like, "That's insane. I can't believe anyone would spend money on that." I'm like, well, they haven't. They've just made it. And
I was probably like, bro. this
I know you
fella-
were like, you were proper like, "Oh my God, I'm never going to spend that much money
Oh my
on
days,
drink."
I cannot believe this.
You're like, "Why would anyone buy that?" And I was like, I don't know. It's just there. And you were like, "Damn." And I was like, and then I brought up Jägermeister again. You're like, "We need to look it up." I'm like, "We just did." You're like, "No, we need to look it up again." I was
More.
like, what? So pretty much that happened. That was like half the night. And then, you know, other things got wild, and other people were like, "What are you doing?" Other people were asking what you were doing.
What, when I was deciphering?
Yeah,
this?
you were deciphering it. We were there sitting,
I remember.
deciphering it.
Yeah, I remember one chick came up to me and she was like, "So stop doing that. Come
Oh.
party, be fun." And I'm like, "No, and this is more important. Okay, I need to understand what the meaning.
I know,
of
it's the
this
funniest
is.
thing. I was
It's
sitting
the
there
meaning
like,
of life in this bottle." And she's like, "You're being so boring." I'm like, "Oh, fuck off. I'm trying to read here."
that's literally what you said.
Yeah.
The whole thing, you said that. And I'm
That's
like,
exactly.
this man knows what's up. He wants to decipher the bottle.
I instantly thought as soon as she turned away and like went off that way, I was like, I'm becoming a philosopher. I'm like, dude, I'm
You
deciphering.
said that as well, and I was like,
Did I actually say that loud?
you did. I'm like, you said something along the lines. I'm like, what's this guy on?
I was probably like, oh, philosopher.
I was like, "Hey Zell, you at the line yet?" You're like, Because you were like, all night, you were like,
Oh,
I
the
haven't hit the
line.
line.
The line.
And we were like, surely he's hit the line. Like, me and my other mate were looking at him. My other mate was drunk as well. I was like, surely he's hit the line. He's like, let's ask him. Hey, Zell, have you hit the line? And you're like, no, I'm way before the line. I'm not even there yet. And then we asked you like 2 minutes later, you're like, yeah, I'm at the line now. We're like, all right, we're taking your drinks. And we're like, no. You're like, oh.
The story behind the line is, ever since the first time I drank, I made up this stupid story. It's like, no, because people didn't understand. Because people always like, no, I'm not drunk, and then they like have a little blood nose, and they're like, whoa, and they freak out. But like, the way I use an analogy was like, there's a finish line and there's a race. Finish line is when the alcohol smacked you, and you're like, yeah, I'm gone. But I'd always say, like, people would ask, how drunk are you? And I'm like, well, you see, there's a line over here. I'm here.
Somewhere over there.
I'm here, and the line's over here. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, this line means I'm very drunk. And now I'm past it. You just told me you weren't. No, now I'm past it. Now it's really getting to
the
my
2
head.
seconds that I was talking to you, it's gone up.
But yeah, the line is what... I actually forgot about that thing.
That was the funniest thing. Because I
Like,
remember
are you at the line yet?
No. Falling over. I'm like, he's definitely... Like, you're past the line. You're like, no, I'm not.
No.
Shut up.
No, I can walk in a straight line, okay? I can drive. Don't drink and drive, kids.
The funniest thing was like, you're like, the line's here and I'm here. And I'm like, show me again. You're like, here. I'm like,
It's over
okay.
here.
Like, here's the line and I'm here. I'm like, okay, so how far are you? He's like, this far. I'm like, you're over the line now. He's like, no, I'm still here. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm way behind the line. Then you had like half a shot and you're like, now I'm over the line.
That's all you need sometimes.
I was like, okay, well, he's over the line, kids.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there with the parental because I had it at someone's house. And I was sitting there with that person, like the mum. And she was like, because I went around to literally every person. I was like, how you going? What you doing? All this. Besides the ones that were like, piss off, go away from me. I don't want your sober thought. I'm like, all right, fine. But I was like sitting there with the mum and she was like, how's him? I'm like, he's all good. He's just past the line.
And she's like, oh no.
And then she was like, oh, where's the rest of them? I'm like, oh, they're on the trampoline. Probably not a good idea. But I was like, where's the other one? Oh, they're wrestling over there. And she's like, okay, well, you're under it. I'm gonna just sit here. So
I remember I got so mad because I stopped drinking when I was deciphering the German on the bottle.
and it slowed down a little.
I hadn't drunk. They got dinner. It was pizza. I ate like a whole pizza. I didn't let anyone eat. I like grabbed the box and ran to the bushes. Ate that stuff. And then I was just relaxing on the trampoline. And then after like 30 minutes, I'm like, you know what? I'm becoming sober. I'm gonna get up and go get a drink. I was like, where's my bottle? And I'm like, I can't find it. I thought someone stole it. I started asking him, yo, you got my bottle? Please give it to me. I need it.
Yeah.
And then he didn't have it. And then I was like,
You asked me, Ben, do you know where my bottle is? I'm like, well, you had it next to you. And then I went and talked to the parental.
yeah. And then she told me, yeah, I'd put it away because you're getting too drunk. And I was like,
No, I'm not. And I was standing next to you. I'm not even drunk. And she's like, okay, have a sit down, have some water. I'm not drunk yet.
I haven't drunk for 2 hours. What do you mean?
The other people were.
Yeah, because I turned around, I looked around at everyone else.
Like,
Blacked
wow.
out. There was one dude over there throwing up everywhere. And I'm standing here completely stable.
Exactly.
I just want to finish my drink. And then my stuff gets taken away from me. Everyone else is allowed to keep drinking. And I'm like, I paid for that, you know?
Pretty much. And then like another one of my mates was like, yo, Ben, you're not drunk, are you? I'm like, no, I'm sober. I'm good. I'm sober. Well, make sure I don't drink any. I think I told you this stuff. Like, make sure you don't drink any. If I start to drink some, hit it out of my hand or hit me or do whatever you want. If I'm throwing up, tell me to stop. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, tell me to stop if I'm throwing up. I'm like, okay. He's like, just give me water. Just look after me. I'm like, okay. So he sits next to me for a bit and I'm looking after him. He keeps asking me, make sure I don't drink. Oh, thanks. And he's like, give me hugs and everything. I'm like, okay. And my other mate comes up and he's like, yo, you want to do some shots? And the guy's like, yeah. And he looks at me. He's like, forget about it. He's like, yeah. And he went and did some shots. And then he's like sitting down next to me again. He's like, make sure I don't drink. I'm like, you just did. He's like, nah, that was water. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, that was water. And then then he starts to walk out and he runs into the door and then he falls on the ground and stays there. I'm like, okay, well.
Is it the same dude that attacked a tree?
Fuck
you, leave. Doos.
I think so.
That was so
I think it was
funny.
that one. Oh, and then the other one with Dylan. We'll say Dylan because
Yeah, the beast.
he's part of our tribe.
Yeah, we'll say Dylan's name. Yeah, it was at the start of the
That was
before
the
everything
name,
happened. We're doing pre-drinks, and because he really sucks with handling alcohol. But considering he's a pretty big dude,
He's pretty built.
he's pretty bulky, but he can't handle his alcohol, which is surprising.
Yeah.
And we were letting him have a taste test of everything, and then so he had this. I can't remember. He had Fireball. And
Yeah. He was freaking out.
he was just sort of he seized up and he was like, and then he came back to normal. He's like, "Whoa, that was pretty bad."
Yeah, it was the worst we did.
And then he had a shot of vodka. He's like,
he had 3 shots and then he ran outside.
and then I was like, "Okay, well, you got to try some of this." And I'd put Jägermeister in the freezer, so it was like how it should be.
Yeah.
Like cough medicine texture and everything. It's
That's
kind
what-
of disgusting,
Everyone called it.
but it's great.
I know, you're like, I love it.
Poured him. He had half the shot in his mouth. And he's like, and then that's the exact face he did. And then he was like holding his throat as if it was like
Like killing him. He was like,
his neck
couldn't
got
swallow
cut,
it.
and he's just like holding the blood from coming out. And he bends over to throw up, and then and then we're gonna mention his name. Mention Shannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say Shannon.
Groups.
He's part of the tribe too, but he's like outside, like
Yeah.
sound like Shrek. And then Dylan ran outside, throws
All
up
in the bush.
everywhere, and I'm like, bruh.
The dog was like,
Yeah, the dog. Bro, there's some good gourmet shit over there.
runs
Let's
over
go
there
eat
and
it
starts
up.
eating. We're like, no, get out of there. He's gonna get it. The Dylan was like the main event of the night because I had to like look after him. I was literally like, Dylan was the main kid I was looking after because we know he's drank before and we know what he can get up to after he's had a couple drinks or a few drinks. So pretty much he had 3 or 4. It was like stages. So the first stage was he more or less sprinted around everywhere trying to do flips and shit. The second stage was he'd sit down. He'd sit down and then like talk. So it'd be like he'd go out of the sober stage. Like he'd be sober again. The third stage was like he'd just want to fight everyone as well. So he's like, no, I can take you. I can do wrestling. And then because we were doing MMA and stuff that night, like wrestling and stuff, he was like, no, I can do it. But he didn't know anything. So we kind of just got flogged every time. And then the fourth stage, which was the funniest stage, was because he was in the chair like right next to me, and I was sitting here. And that's back when he had that one girl that was messaging him, like he did a couple things with that girl, and she was messaging him, and he was like, "Dan, can you message her?" And this isn't the funny part yet, but I was like, "Oh yeah," so I'd like message him, and like she's like, "Gonna get cranky at me," and all this whinging about it. Oh, the girl's gonna not like me anymore. It was funny because the next week they broke up. But so basically, like, he's like, I'd talk to him and he's talking back to me, and then he'd just go, "Oh, yeah." And
I remember, yeah.
He doze off, and I keep talking to him because I wasn't looking. I was like looking down at the phone because we were talking about what to send to her because I wanted it to be from him, not me. Anyway, I keep talking to him. I look up. I'm like, "Oh, Dylan's out," and then Dylan like comes back up. He's like, "Yeah." So basically, I'm like, "What?" He's like, he could hear me when he was out, but he would keep talking.
Yeah,
So he'd wake up and he's like, "Yeah." So basically, you can just send that. I'm like, "Okay, I'm sending it," and then he like be like, "Yeah." So, and he'd go back again.
Yeah.
And then we're like, "Dylan, are you faking it?" And you'd smile when he was out, and we're like, "He's faking it." And then you'd wake up and you're like, "I'm not faking it." And I was like, "What? Are you in or out?" He's like, And the funniest was me and other mate. Oh, he was like further across from me, and he looked at me. He's like, "Do you think we can make Dylan count?" Like, "Yeah, we'll give it a go." "Oh, I don't count to 10. He was like, "What?" And he was like, 1. I was like, "Are you serious?" And then he woke up. He was like, 4. I'm like, "You missed 2 and 3." He's like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "All right, keep going." He's like, 5, 7. I was like, "What are you
48.
doing?" I
What?
was like, "That's the stupidest thing." And that was the best part of the night. That was like towards the end of the night. And, well, you know, we tried. Then that was when Dylan went he didn't face plant, but he went on the ground and he just slept for like an hour on like flat. It was just wood. Because we were on a deck, so he was just on the wood, just laying there for like an hour. I think that's when you were out of soberness and you guys went for a walk. Gun dog. But
That time, yeah.
yeah, so we're like on the ground.
And then
Well-
we got really sad. Yeah.
And then the parent was like, "Oh, you know where they are?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, they just went for a walk. They'll be right." And they went to the beach, and she's like, "Oh, I don't want them going to the beach when they had some." I'm like, "It'll be okay." And she's like, was like, do you want me to go get him? They're like, no, you just stay here. I'm like, okay. And then as she like walked into the bedroom, I'm like, oh, bing!
Yeah.
I like sprinted out and sprinted to you guys. I'm like, oh, you guys are good. Yeah, we're all good.
We're all good.
We just sat there for a bit, yeah. And we walked back and the parent was like, are they all good? I'm like, yep, they're good. I'm glad you disobeyed me. I'm like, thank you. Until once in a while.
Being a sad drunk is the worst.
Yeah.
Like, you drink to
many
have fun and
different
you start
stages.
crying. It's like,
For no reason.
bro.
Especially when you bring other people into it.
Yeah, it's
Like, yeah, come on.
then
like,
people
I'm
like
not-
people are trying to be
don't
nice
like-
and stuff, like comfort you and stuff. You're like, just leave me alone.
Yeah, pretty much. You got some people that are like sad and then they want to make everyone else feel like, look at me.
Give me attention.
Give
Come
me
on.
attention.
I'm
And there's
crying
other
for a
people like,
reason.
I'm sad, I'm sitting here, don't talk to me.
Yeah, whenever I got sad drunk, I was like, if you touch me, I don't know what's gonna happen. Just
I'll beat your ass, bro.
don't know what's gonna happen.
But we'll probably round it up.
Yeah.
In our time, before editing and all that, I don't know, 40 minutes. We can let you go on for a whole...
Yeah, we can keep going.
We talk all day about the stuff that we've done. You know, we'll round it up. I don't know what we're going to call this. Drinking is life.
We could just go like 100 days sober or something.
100 days sober. Bang.
We'll think of something. Anyway.
Whatever. But you know, we'll round it up. Thank you guys for so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this as much as we always do, because it's pretty much like you're the third person sitting in the chair. So we're just talking to you guys about the stories. But thank you so much for stopping by, for watching this, taking the time out of your day to enjoy this podcast that we put up on YouTube for you guys as much. Yeah. Final words?
Basically, obviously a podcast we're talking, but it's just, this is basically like a normal conversation that we would
Pretty
have.
much.
We're not
Us two and then you.
like trying to force anything, but like, yeah, so if you guys enjoy this sort of thing, make sure you chuck us a follow if you're seeing this on, I don't know what platform you'll be seeing this on.
Whatever
but
you're seeing it on.
subscribe, follow, whatever. Leave a comment, say some random shit.
Yeah, we'll always try and get back to you. You know, if you have
Yeah.
topics that you want us to talk about, we'll definitely try and chat about them. Even if it's not a big thing, just a little short segment. But definitely, thank you guys once again for stopping by, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Peace.
See ya.